Blog Talk Radio.
Aloha, everybody. This is Jennifer O'Neill with Soul DNA Radio, and joining us today is Damien. Is it Wynne? Did I say that correctly?
You did, Jennifer. Yes. Hi.
Okay. And Damien is an Irish spirit healer, and he is you're from Ireland. You're based in Ireland, correct?
No, I'm based in between Berlin and Budapest at the moment. I have been living in Dublin for the last 5 years, but yes, so
okay.
German,
Well, then
Budapest.
from way across the globe, that's pretty
wherever I'm guided.
And he does a lot of traveling, and Damon does some really amazing healing work, and we're going to talk about that today because he will be in New York coming up. In fact, if you're in the New York area, you definitely want to check out sacredgatherings.com to see when he's going to be there, which we will talk more about. But at the beginning of the show, Damon was actually going to do a healing session or activation with listeners out there. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take it from here, Damien.
Great. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you, Jennifer. So what I want to do is just open up a space. If you feel comfortable or open to doing this, if you could ask your personality almost to step to one side, and you can go straight into your heart. And if you just connect to your heart center at the moment, okay? And then if you connect, we're going to go right up to Source through your crown, and we're going to ask Source now to come down through into the room where you are, okay, and into the center of your heart. Okay, and just feel that connection. It doesn't matter if you don't feel it. And now we're going to open up a connection to the crystal in the center of the earth. So down from the center of the heart through the tailbone all the way into the center of the earth. And we're going to pull up the energy from this. Connect first. Okay, feel that connection. And now we're going to bring up the energy of that crystal into the center of your heart as well. Okay, and I'd like to connect to the ocean energy as well, and the whales and the dolphins, and just bring that in as well. Okay, so there's a space open that's going to keep working with you through the show, and then later on through the day as well. So there's a channel working at the moment that's going to keep working through you. So as we're talking, it'll keep coming through. So you
kind of open up, you give people a visual, just like at the beginning, by them just doing that opens up some different energetic systems and channeling systems.
Exactly, yes.
Keep moving throughout the day.
So, well, in the groups, normally what I'm doing is I'm opening up a space. So what the work is all about is that you're connecting to Source yourself directly. A direct channel, not through me, not through anyone else, directly yourself, and then directly connecting to Mother Earth and reawakening that connection with Mother Earth and bringing it right the way into you and opening up that connection. And then we're working with the universal energies as well. And your spirit will be... Sorry, go ahead. So your spirit will be guided to work with these different energies, and they will work through you and start clearing. And it's really to connect you back to Source through the center of the heart.
So what you do through these workshops, and then we'll get into a little detail, is you hold groups where, like if you're in New York or even in Hawaii, you can come to New York and you do 1-day sessions, and then you do a 4-day intensive session. So what happens is they come into your group and you work with a group of people having and allowing and showing and teaching them how to connect into Source and do healing work or allowing themselves to be healed on their own.
Exactly.
It's not something that you're laying of hands on or doing any of that stuff that some healers do. Go ahead.
So the way it's working is it's reawakening your own healing abilities and your own original connections. And this is going back to the beginning of time when you first came here and beyond. So what we do is we start going back through your ancestral lines, and now we call in the ancestors as well, and they will work basically to take back whatever their responsibility to whatever is in the DNA. So we start working on the DNA, start working on the cells, and really start clearing the old energies or the old stories, and you start to release these through the cells. So the work is really connected to your cells, and it's reawakening the cells and the old memories, and they start to just clear. And the frequency, it's working with frequencies of pure light from source. The frequencies of the cells start changing.
Right.
As you're working through this.
Well, and what I find very interesting is what you said is what I appreciate about your work too is I work in the same way, but really good teachers understand and know that this type of spiritual work and spiritual knowledge, everybody has it. They just have forgotten or have lost touch with it. So some really educated teachers understand and know how to get that memory back to the surface and show and teach how to work with that and allow you can explain and guide them into how to utilize that. And don't you seem to notice that once you explain that to them that they seem to naturally pick it up very quickly?
It naturally awakens. It's almost myself when I started to do this in the very early stages. I was completely blocked originally, and when I was a kid, I had the connections that were there naturally, and I used to connect as a child. But later on, I began to block them, and I became quite blocked up to the age of 30. And then I got directed to go to a healer, and I didn't realize it was a healer at the time. And I met this person that I was guided to meet, and he was a healer, so he worked on me, and he opened up my heart chakra. And the minute he opened it up, it was amazing. Vibration. It was a huge explosion coming from my heart, and immediately after that I just felt my heart really burst open and the channels opening up, and he told me I could do healing, and I was completely blocking it, and eventually he talked me into saying, okay, I'll accept it. So when I said, okay, I'll try it, a laser opened up, and it was a green laser from my third eye. So I used to work with I worked with the laser on him actually, and then the channels start coming down. But these channels were so familiar to me, and that was the amazing thing. At the time, it was so normal. The whole thing felt so normal, but yet it was so off the mark, in the mind. My mind was saying, what am I doing? What's going on here? And I started to connect almost like a child to these energies and started to play with these energies. And it kept unfolding, and it just kept speeding up. And every day I'd practice and work, and it would bring up different blocks that were in me, and I'd start releasing and start processing. But there was this inner knowing all the time, and this knowledge was flowing through. It was just there, but it was so familiar. And I find when I'm working with people, I seem to attract a lot of people who have not been in this work, or else who are teachers, or were in past lives. And when I start working with them, it opens their memory of this. And people who had no intention to come for healing or something, who were just guided through a friend, or if they were sitting beside a colleague in work, which usually happens, is I'd work with somebody and the light starts spreading inside them, and they would go back to their office, and then the person in the office would feel a vibration and unconsciously they'd ask them, what did you do? You look different, or there's something about you. And most of the time, the people wouldn't tell them what they received, but they'd say, listen, cold as sky. So they'd arrive to me, and they wouldn't have a clue what I was doing. So I would just work on them, and they would open up immediately, and their life would just really unfold and really, really change. So it's taking out it's clearing the spirit, and it's bringing you back right into the heart center. But what it's doing is it's taking any structures, belief systems, or fears, or old patterns, and opening them and allowing you process them and let them go through you. And then you start really connecting to your heart. You really connect to that inner voice. And an awful lot of the time, actually, I find that they'd find that people would be attracted to talk with them, or they'd be more open to talk to people, or people would be guided to help them on their path. So it's, when I'm working with them, it is about a healing technique. It is about healing yourself, but it's about your way of life. So
well, it sounds like it affects others too around them. So, and what it sounds like too, though, is you're really working with their energetic system as well as their belief system.
Everything. It's so many layers. There's like, when it started coming down for me first, it was many layers. I used to work just on the hands and the feet, and then it was the spine, and then it was the head, different points in the brain, and it just kept unfolding, and they kept giving me these techniques that kept coming down. And as they would come down, I'd almost like let them go. I'd work with people for a few weeks, or each day, and each person I work with is completely different. And it kept coming down, and I kept just trusting and releasing these techniques. And then eventually I was guided to start teaching these techniques. But it was really just layers upon layers, and I started to see, wow, this is actually what's happening in the world at the moment, in that present moment. And it was like it's live. I was tapping into a live current of the universe that was giving me everything to that very second. Of where the universe was at its shift on every second of every moment when I was working. So I could feel it inside, and it was really making me live my life in a way that I was living in the moment, and I was trusting the universe, and the universe guided me by second on what to do or what not to do. And that's the way the healing work as well, and that's the way the teachings and the workshops that I do are like this. I never know what's going to happen. In every second, I'm just guided all the time, and I teach people how to live like this and how to work like this. And it can be any type of job. I work with potters and doctors and consultants, and it becomes them. It becomes their essence. And for example, I work with surgeons, and the surgeons just take that essence inside them, and they become healers as well as surgeons and doctors. It just works in their patients, and then it works through you when you just connect into a room. You walk into a room, if there's a spirit open, the energy goes into them, and the light spreads through them. When I'm working with groups, it's not really about one person. I'm working with every single person you're connected to. So all your family, your friends, your loved ones, they all come into the room if they're open to it. So normally when I'm working in groups, I see thousands of people connected, across cities and lands, and it just spreads. And normally when we connect, it stays connected. So each country I'm going through, people would ring me up, or they'd send me an email and say, oh wow, I felt you were working on this last night because it started shifting in me. And this is the way we are. It's just this. It's like a matrix or a grid of just pure light and frequencies, and we're all connected to it. But we are. People realize, but they don't pay attention to. Exactly.
Unless it causes them to, like, they're angry at each other. But we always read everybody's energy. This is going to be a funny thing, but I always tell people, every time you walk into a bar, you can always tell who's approachable and who's not approachable, and that's because you're sensitive to reading their energy because you're in a bar situation. But when you're outside of a bar, whether you're in a home or in work or in the grocery store, you do the same thing. You just are not on high alert. You're not paying attention to that. So you're very right. So if someone comes to your class and learns about how to remember this and open up their channels and the energy starts flowing, they're very much, in my experience and from what you're telling me, going to affect other people in their life, their coworkers, their relationships with their spouse or their children, because you project that so heavily with all the interrelationships that you have that it's bound to change them. Yeah.
And the way I see, when I look at somebody, I see frequencies of, I see different frequencies that you're giving off. And this is really what you're sensing. So people don't realize that they're doing it, but everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
So as you said about when you meet somebody, you can approach them or not approach them because you're reading their frequencies. And when you work with that person, you're giving off, you change the frequencies after. So if you work with somebody and they change the frequencies, so it's obvious that you will attract different people. Or,
well, I hate to cut into this, but I would love to send all the people who keep asking me about their love life to you. And I know that that's very cliche, but one of the things that I notice when people one of people's biggest concerns is they want a companion. They want someone in their life to share their life with. And if they don't think that they're going to have that, they get afraid, right? But one of the commonalities I see with people who are in that situation is the frequency that they're projecting.
Yeah, they're projecting out that fear.
Yes,
and blocking the people.
Yes, they're projecting out the fear and a desperation, and everybody senses that. And I explain this to them, but sometimes it's hard for them to get. They're like, yeah, but when's my boyfriend or girlfriend coming? So, but if they were to go to a class, anybody listening who is worried about this type of thing, if they were going to go to your class, I think that would be, or workshop, that would be very, very helpful, because it would shift them internally, and they would just naturally project something different. And I think that would be amazingly helpful. And so I think that the work that you're doing is really incredible, and they should definitely come check it out. And we do have a caller. We'll continue talking about this. We'll check and see if this caller has a question for you, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, let's see. We have area code 818. Aloha.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good. Do you have a question for Damien?
Yes. Well, something was rang true to me, and it was like the universe was calling, like connecting us, for a reason, because I was involved with a person for a year and a half, and I thought, well, my goodness, I was fooled by this person. But what I realized today is that people come into your life for, I hated that poem, a reason, a season, and a lifetime. But there's a need that the vibration that you're picking up, and that person is meeting that need. Now, that need may be good for you or bad. I hate to say good or bad, but maybe there's a beyond what your need. You yourself don't even realize it, but the universe does know why these people come towards you at that exact moment.
Yes.
Why these things happen. It's something out of your control.
Absolutely, I'd fully agree with you on that. And I would see it as, I always see every situation in life and every person I meet as a huge gift. And you may look at that and say, wow, how can you see that if it's a bad relationship or something? But I would see it as, that person is a teacher for me. And the person is bringing up whatever issues I need to work on. So when I go into a difficult situation or a trauma or something happens in my life because somebody's bringing it up or pushes my buttons, what I do is I really thank that person, because I look deep inside myself and say, okay, that person's pushing my buttons, so there's a gap inside me somewhere that I have to work on. So I start connecting to my body and my spirit, and sometimes I can't find it, and that's okay. So other times I'll go up like an eagle outside myself and look at the whole situation, and usually I can see it then, and it's like a fresh pair of eyes. So I look down on myself from a distance, and I look down the situation and try and see it outside the box. As I say, sometimes I don't find it that way, but I feel that connecting to the energy of the anger or the pain or suffering, it sort of helps to clear it. And then when I go through a similar process with the same person, the vibration changes. So
and
maybe,
why so many people, like with me, there was a time when all of them were the same. I was surrounded by them. Excuse me?
Because you didn't clear it, you didn't have the full teaching, you didn't go through the full teaching, so they will keep sending you people like this.
And I didn't know which way to turn. They were all surrounding me.
Yeah. The universe will keep sending you people, so it may not even be a partner, it could be your best friend or someone in work or a colleague, and they'll have the same team all the time. The same issue will keep popping up if you're not clearing it. And you'll be pushed by the universe to always clear this issue. and then you'll clear it on one level, and then it'll come back again, and you sort of have to go through it again.
So they were all at the same time. It was so strange.
Yeah.
I didn't know which way to turn, and now I realize that there were so many at the same time.
It was a huge lesson for you, yeah.
Oh, what
very
came out
positive.
of the last relationship was my intuition. I was warned all the time. I never knew about my intuition, that I was a sensitive person, intuition, and what else about it? And the trusting factor, not getting too close to people. I got too close too quickly and not seeing for people the way they were. And it wasn't so, the lessons I was learning is not so much what I was being taught. It was like who was teaching the lesson to me. And
Well, that was a really great question, and thank you for calling in.
Thank you so much.
Thank
it just
you.
was amazing that this came up just now, and I understood what I experienced.
Perfect. Thanks again. All right, aloha.
Aloha.
Thank you.
So, that was actually a really good question because we get that a lot, or I get it a lot. I'm sure you do. If they're continuously surrounded by the same type of people, whether they be negative or good, that is a reflection, which I explain and you explain, of what type of energy and vibration that you're sending out. So if it's not good, that's the time what you were telling her is to go inside yourself and sort of reflect and try to figure out what they're pulling up in you, what fears or whatever that they're pulling up in you.
And don't push that fear down. Just what I always try and do with myself, which I learned from I had huge fears as a child on every level. I had panic attacks about everything. If you brought me anywhere, I'd have a complete meltdown. And what I learned to do then was that I overcame it. It was interesting. I was on holidays in Spain at the time with a Spanish family I was staying with, and there was a huge free fall slide in a water park, and I had a massive fear of heights. I couldn't go up 3 steps, And these 2 kids I was staying with, they were younger than me at the time, and they ran up the steps, and I looked at them and I said, oh my God, I can't do that. So I just said, no, if they can do it, I can do it. And I forced myself to go up the steps. Now I was absolutely really, really scared. And I got to the top and somebody pushed me off it and I was shaking. But when I went through it, it sort of gave me a feeling. I was very scared, but I went through it and it felt like, wow, I can do that. And if I hadn't have done it, I would have spent more energy actually beating myself up beforehand.
Right, exactly.
So I went through that experience, and it changed my life completely. So what I did was, with every situation, I sort of don't push down, don't suppress the fear. If there's a fearful situation coming up, I'll actually embrace it. And when I embrace it, it's actually not so bad when you're in the middle of it. And you can deal with it, and you're taking your power back. You're not giving away your power. You're not suppressing it. And energy should be lived. It should flow through you. And if you let it flow through you, you release it. And you release it from your cells. But if you suppress it, it's actually getting stuck in the cells. And that's where the disease starts. That's where the different traumas and the different lessons you are coming up, because you're not allowing this energy to flow through you. So a lot of the work I do is to really connect you to your emotions, all your emotions, the anger, everything. They're all good emotions. It's your power, So it's to work with all these emotions and allow them to flow through you. So
that's really interesting, because don't you think it's if you suppress the emotions or if you fight against them or try to just like the fear, if you just try to battle against it, it doesn't allow the energy to flow through you. It allows it to
at all
within your system.
It's very destructive in the system, and it blocks your energy completely.
Right. So then
I have to release it. If there's something I need to say, I have to do it. I'm being pushed continuously. I have to say it. And
so that's the best way with physical things, like you said, but also with relationships.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, absolutely. In relationships, you have to tell the. This sounds terrible. You have to tell the truth. You have to. If there's something there. When I'm working with people, they connect to that inner voice through the heart, and they find that they express things which they never would have dreamt they would have said to their partner or loved ones. You know, they say, oh no, that's terrible, that's too hard to say. But actually, if you're speaking through the heart, the person can feel that connection, and they can feel, no, that's not coming from any ego, the negative or the positive ego. That's coming straight from the heart. I can do, and they deal with it. And it's totally different experience and a different way of speaking, and that's the way we originally spoke. We were brought here on this planet to speak through the heart, and then we blocked it and we went up into the head, and the throat got blocked.
Excellent. And then that's also when I notice, and I'm sure you notice as well, and we have another caller, and we're going to get to you in a second here, but that's when you actually cause yourself health issues, is if you
absolutely.
Or resist against it, and you hold that emotion in your energetic field and in the cells of your body, that actually will begin to manifest into a physical, whether it be flu or whether it be cancer. I mean, it just into whatever level of health issue you're having. So if you're having health issues, most are often than not, I notice, which we can get into in a more in-depth conversation after this caller, is I actually go to, and I'm sure you do, and hopefully more doctors will, you go to the inside part of the problem first because that's where it's stemming from.
Always the work was I never even would look at the issue. A lot of people in the very first stage would come with very heavy illness, and I never looked at the illness. It was always, no, I want to go to the root, because if I looked at the illness, it's been very narrow-minded, and it's like closing in, and you can't find the root of it. So I want to find the root of it. And if you go to the root of it, basically, that's the true teaching. And then you clear that, and then eventually you don't need the illness. For me, every illness is like a gift, and it's giving you a sign to change something. You need to change something.
Yes, and I love that.
Really strong lesson.
Yes, it is a great lesson, and I tell people that they're indicators of what's happening on the inside, and so I love your view of that. That's really important, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But let's see what other question we have for you. We have area code 510.
Oh, great.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. My name's Sherry, and about a year and a half ago, I went through some real traumatic things in my life, and I embarked on meditation and learning about the chakras and chakra clearing, and I'm now taking a Reiki class, really trying to help rid of all this negative energy that I have accumulated. And I'm not sure if I'm getting it. I'm not sure if I am being cleared. And how do you know? How do you know if you are evolving from the point where you were at to where you need to go?
Good question. I get this all the time. What you're doing is you're clearing. Okay, first of all, I can tell you need to work more with the earth energy. There's loads of holes in your energy field at the moment, which you're clearing lots and lots of stuff, but you need to go deeper into the earth, connect to the heavier, so connect to the lava energy, connect to the energy of the soil, and bring this up through your cells. And this will ground you more and help you clear it. So normally when we start working on ourselves, it's a process of bringing this energy up as a detox, and we start to bring it up into our cells, and we may feel really bad, or you may not feel so good doing it, but it starts bleeding from your system, and it starts leaving your systems, and it's opening up your past lives as well and your family lines, and it can appear like you're going backwards. Now, for me, it was a very, very important lesson, was that I always, no matter how bad I feel, I say, I'm getting better. I'm clearing this. This is a process. I'm clearing it. I'm moving forward. I'm always moving forward. I'm always telling myself I'm moving forward. Even though I feel terrible, I can't see where I'm going. I probably feel worse than before, but I know I'm moving forward. So I know as much as how bad it feels, that's how good it's going to be when I clear it. And I find that when that circle comes around, a lot of people make this mistake, I find, that especially in the healing world, that they're working on themselves on a particular issue, they're digging it up, and they go through it, they bring it into cells, they feel it, and then it comes back around. But for me, the universe, it's like going back to school, and it has its exams every 6 months or whenever it is, and it'll send that issue up again. And the true exam is really to say, no, I've dealt with that. It's on a different frequency now, but I've dealt with it, and I'm going through it. And you allow the frequency to run through you again, and then you move up. So it's a spiral going up. It's not a circle, or it's not a spiral going down. It's a spiral going up. So what you're doing is you're clearing an issue, say a particular fear issue. So you're clearing that issue on the first cycle, and that's on frequencies. So it's not just on one level. You have to clear it. When I'm working with somebody, I have to clear it through every past life, through all the family line, through this life, through any contacts that you've been in this, in this life as well. And then when you clear it, the first time you're going to go through the many layers of it, so it will come up, but it'll feel slightly lighter the next time. But it's very important that we tell ourselves, no, we're moving forward, and we're always moving forward.
So it's not that you're moving backwards if you're revisiting the same issue, is what you're explaining.
Absolutely not. You're going on a different frequency.
Yes. So you have to clear through all your frequencies. So you just each time, like you said, if you imagine it being a spiral up, it's that you're coming around possibly to the same fear, but you're higher each time in a different
frequency.
Exactly.
It's coming up again, but it's on a different frequency. Like I've been working myself continuously every day for years, and I would have particular issues which would come up. For example, like my lungs would come up a lot, and I worked on it a lot in many different ways, but it's getting lighter each time. But I may have a process with my lungs, which is connected to what's happening to the environment and bringing it up deeper from a particular past life or something. So it's different frequencies. It's all the energetic fields, and we're opening them up, and we will go through them. But it's always getting lighter, and it's always moving up.
And Sherry, Damien has some YouTube stuff. If you can't attend seminar, that because what I've noticed is with my students. When I've talked to them and they've come to me, sometimes you just have to go to different types of healing or different teachers that can help connect in with you, because the teachers are like doctors. We're all different. And so you may, if one thing you feel like is not working, just know that you've gathered more information, like Damien said, and you've worked through it and you're still moving forward, but continue until you find a teacher that you feel very much that you resonate with, and maybe check out Damien's YouTube videos and try some of his work and see how that helps you. Can you tell her how to find that? Or?
Yeah, sure. Well, what I do myself personally, I would be guided to people to work on me, because I find that I can move much faster that way. And you're very correct there. We don't have to do this work alone. We can ask for help and clear it much better sometimes. But when we do it ourselves, or when we go to other people, if you're searching for somebody, I think it's very important not to go with the head. So not to go with if your best friend says he or she's very good. I always check in my heart and really ask. I don't care what someone says. I check every single word in my heart. And if it resonates in me that I'm being drawn to a particular person, I will go to that person. But if it doesn't, even though they've got the best references in the world, you have to check, does that person resonate with me at the moment? Now, maybe that person may not today, but next week they do. But you must check in every moment what's right. And this is really, really about taking your power back, and you must take your power. It's important not to go to somebody saying, fix me, fix me, fix me. It's about you working on yourself and going to that person. That person can direct you and guide you on many different layers and clear many different issues with you, but it's really you doing the work and taking responsibility of the work as well. And it's not like going to a doctor who gives you medicine and you're fixed after it. It's about you taking your power back of each of these gifts, because all these different traumas are gifts, and they're little stories which are unfolding, so you don't have to actually know what they are. Sometimes you will, but they're little stories in your cells that are opening up and awakening up. And if you allow those stories to awaken up, they're actually going to leave your cells, and you'll develop and you will grow, and your aura and your layers will become brighter and shinier, and the frequency of light inside you will just completely open up stronger each time.
Well, and the other thing with that, Sherry, too, is what I'm not sure if you heard the first part, but all of our students, everybody on this planet has the memory and the knowledge in their heart center, in their soul, of healing themselves and working with this energy work, finding the correct teacher or the correct technique to just revive your memory is really the key there. So it's I don't know what happened with the thing, but it seems like we've lost her. But for anybody on the who's interested in checking this out, why don't you give them how they can find you on YouTube as well?
All right, if you just look up, I just did one on YouTube. Actually, it was one that was quite rushed when I was last time in New York. Alan asked me to do one, so I just did an activation. And it's really just to connect to the energy. Just play it in the background, lie down, and give permission for the work, and you will connect, and the activation will work through you. And people have had complete activations through watching the YouTube or just lying in the bed, and it's cleared them. I will be doing more up-to-date ones, but yeah, you can try it on YouTube. You can basically just go into Damien Wynne, Damien Wynne, and it's on YouTube. And just as I say, just lie in the bed and just let it play. I've had people with amazing results from it.
Yeah, and then again, if you're in the area of New York area, you want to go to sacredgatherings.com. Sacred, is that it? Sacredgatherings.com?
That's correct.
And
yeah.
then, you can find that information on there or your website as well,
or
right?
the website in any other part of the world that I'm working at the time as well. Or you can just, if you want to make, if you know the evenings I'm on, if you just want to make a connection with me, and we can work with you that way in groups as well. It's important at the moment that we work in groups. We can clear so much more in groups at the moment. It's a great opportunity for us to clear. When I'm working with a group, the more in the group I work with, the more we can clear, and it's almost like I'm working with the whole city or the whole country or sometimes the whole world on different issues, and we can clear on such a depth, and the group will hold you much more. And for example, if somebody beside you a particular issue, we're all connected as one, so we all have similar issues. So I may have priorities on 3 or 4 issues, so that will come up, but it also will clear it in you as well on a very deep level. And a lot of the time when I'm working in the groups, people feel, wow, even though he was talking about a particular issue that lady had over there, I can feel something happened in my cells. I can feel something, So it really clears on a very, very deep level. At the moment, there's massive, massive shifts happening, and we can clear so much. The work has developed so much over the last few weeks. It's incredible. It's like life years, amount of work that I've been doing over the last few weeks. It's incredible, the changes. The technique I work with, it's like GRIDS.com, and it's basically, it was frequencies which were sent to me and points on the body which was sent to me from source, and it's awakening all memories and clearing the cells. And then last year they gave me an activation technique, and they told me the activation was for taking a huge jump. It's for that we needed a huge jump, so they asked me to start working with this. So I start working with it, and I noticed that it was working. The only thing that can block it is the ego. So if we can manage to get the ego out of the way, the spirit was opening up and connecting to these energies and clearing so much stuff from all your layers and all the fears, and it was clearing out the fears, the control, the manipulation energies, any hooks or anything that's been in you, and it was allowing a space of pure light in the body, more light into the body and the cells, and then the spirit was actually coming down into the body more and grounding back to Mother Earth. And then what happened there 2 weeks ago in Berlin, actually, I was working with this, and then I start working in the groups with clearing the chakras more and bringing the ancestors, inviting the ancestors. Rather than going through one person, I invited the ancestors into the room to work directly so they could take ownership of the issues and whatever stories or secrets were in the families, to allow the energy of them come into the room or into yourselves to open those stories up again. And there was a huge lightness in the room that the people felt, wow, I don't have to carry this in my cells anymore. And the ancestors, I could see them, they were so happy with what the work the people were doing, and they felt so free and light. And Then after that, then we start working with cleaning all the chakras and then bringing all the organs, connecting them to source. So it's almost like the placenta. So I was working on the navel, the umbilical cord with the universe. I'm bringing down, it's almost like the placenta of the source into the cells, into every organ. I'm going through every organ, converting them to pure light, then working with the bones, the spine, everywhere, the blood, cleaning the blood. And then after that, I was working with the technique. And then another version of the technique came down. I was spinning the chakras and spinning from the navel and working all the way through the navel and clearing any fears or self-abuse issues or suicide energies. So I started clearing these, and then everything starts spinning. And there was incredible spin of this energy going through all the chakras, and it starts spinning really, really fast. It's just balls of pure light spinning. And I sort of got thrown back, and then everything just spanned themselves. Then they span into one, always spinning from the navel, the center point in the navel. And then there was an implosion, and then it was like a star, which was almost like imploding, and then there was an explosion again of pure light. And at that, for me, the way I saw it like I was coming up out of the water, looking up to the sunlight on the water, and then I was through out of the water on the other side, and I felt this huge release. It was like, oh my God, I don't have to do this alone anymore, and all my cells started to open up then, and I could feel humanity's pain and my pain and suffering and teachings through all this. The lines all the way back to the beginning in time and before, when I was in star connections as well, and I could feel them opening up and just allowing this energy to flow out of me, out of my cells, and they start filling up with pure light. But then I saw these huge light beings come down that haven't been here before, and they start working with us, and it was like a breakthrough into a new dimension or something. It was incredible experience, and
that was recently. That was recent.
That was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Wow, that explains a lot about we're all of us in the same field, and even people that I've noticed there have been clients, I'm sure as well as you know, there was a heavy energy shift going on. Probably
it was huge
for the last couple of months here, and it's been really intense the last few weeks. Yeah.
Huge.
So,
I was told.
Go ahead.
I was told, oh gosh, I kept getting messages there 6 months ago, and I was being told, oh, you're working with bringing frequencies of light down to this earth, and they were telling me, well, we can't come yet because there was a web of fear around,
right.
and manipulation energy around the earth, and I would look up and I would see this web around the earth, and then the other week, so they were telling me that when we clear this enough, they can come down and help us. Right. And on that particular Monday, I could feel that I did a workshop that weekend, and I felt, wow, it's clearing. There was like holes in the web.
I think a lot of that's kind of tied to 2012 and all that as well. You know?
It is, totally. Yeah, totally. It is absolutely. The shifts are incredible at the moment.
Exactly.
And it was so beautiful to see the light pouring through, and the beings coming down then and helping us, and it was huge shift. We will not go back.
I've noticed it lightning over the last probably few days or a week. I've noticed a different shift myself as well.
Yeah.
We have another caller too. Let's see what questions that they have. Area code 714.
You know, I was just kind of listening. I didn't know if you were doing readings.
We're not doing readings, but he's answering any questions on healings, but you're more than welcome to just stay on there and listen if you don't have a question for Damien.
I have a kind of a lung problem. I don't know if it's been a past life injury, and sometimes I injure it and it hurts.
Yeah, there's huge, and the suffocation around you in past lives. There's a few. I keep seeing that you drowned. I can see a drowning, and there was actually another past life with smoke burning as well around your lungs. I can see. So it's very, very heavy. It's like, it's really, really dense. Okay, I'm just checking out. Yeah, you need to. Yeah, you need to start working on that. sorry, I'm getting it in myself now. Okay, I'm just tuning into it. You can get, your cells are starting to open up actually as we're talking, and it's like a cleaning of the cells. What I can do is I can connect with you. I'm going to work tomorrow evening, so if you just, I can connect with you tomorrow evening, actually work on your lungs directly, and go through whichever issues in the past lives, and go through them with you, just from a distance. I don't know where you are, but from a distance I can do this. So if you just set the intention and give me permission to work with you tomorrow evening, I'll work with you.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, great. Because there's a few past lives, there's 3 different past lives I'd like to clear with you first with that. So if it's okay, if you give me full permission, I can work directly with you tomorrow evening.
Great. Will I need to call you, or will it just be...
No, it's okay. Or else if you want to connect even through the YouTube video or something like that, just play it in the background. It'll work away. But you're connected already. And this goes for everybody. If I'm working on particular nights, if you want to just connect, just say okay and give them permission just to connect to this energy.
It's a distance healing thing for Damien.
It's distance healing, yes. Yeah. So if you just give permission, we'll connect. And this, I work with people all over the world this way. So you can connect into any groups, and you can continue doing this as well. Whatever groups I'm doing, just continuously come in, and you'll notice that issues will start coming up in your life, and keep moving forward with these issues. So keep working on them and allow yourself to go through them, and allow yourself to feel the anger or the pain or whatever it may be, and just allow these issues to come up, allow the vibration of them to open up, and you will feel a difference.
So
well, thank you very much.
Tomorrow he will do a group healing, and he will do a distance healing for you. And since you've given him permission, it allows him to connect in with your energy, since you're already connected now, and it allows him to send some attention to you. So you may feel a difference tomorrow. Just you may feel something from his distance healing.
So if this goes for everybody, if you want to give complete permission, only if it feels right for you, okay? So I'm always, in my groups when I'm working, I'm always asking you for permission. So if you're connected from a distance, I'm continuously asking you, subconsciously. And in the groups that's consciously, I'm actually asking you for permission to work on your liver or your lungs or your spine or particular past lives. So it's really about what level of permission you give. And if you give complete permission and trust, I can really, really go deep with you and really work through everything with you, to what level your spirit says stop, So when I'm working with somebody, I'm always working through the heart and connecting Source and Mother Earth, and it works through your higher self. So your higher self is controlling everything. I'm not going in without permission. Your higher self is controlling what energies go in and what amount of energies go in as well. It's always manageable. And some people want to move very fast and say, okay, well, I'll take more, even though my physical is going to react a little bit, my physical body, I'm going to do it. And then other people say, well, no, that's enough. I don't want any more. Just go in very gentle or very light, and we'll do it again at a later date. So just give permission. If you see any of the evenings I'm working, if you say, okay, I want to connect to every one of them or the workshop, go ahead, do it, and it'll work.
Okay, we're going to let you listen some more, and he will send you some distance healing tomorrow. So just be open to that, and if you feel anything, just kind of go with that, okay?
Yeah.
Have a good day. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for calling in.
Bye-bye. So, yeah, that you can do distance healings in groups and that, but what I want to talk a little bit more about is yes, people who have physical ailments and physical things that come up in their life. That's a very great time to, for me, I always tell my clients that's usually it's they're going and fighting against things that they don't want to do in life. And it's sort of a trained behavior, I feel, and I don't know about in Europe or any of the other places that you go work at, but in the United States, it's a trained behavior that they start teaching people now from when they're children on up to high school. Mm-hmm. They want them to follow money and, make sure they're successful in their eyes, and so when the child or the teenager develops, they sort of go where everybody else wants them to go, and they start resenting what they're doing on a day-to-day, you know.
And then they're going to become ill,
Yeah, and it manifests. So when they come to your group, I guess if they go to anywhere, if they start connecting in with their source and their heart center and consciousness on that level and start following, like you were saying, it really heightens your intuition, right?
Absolutely,
Guide.
So we have these structures which society has put on us, their schooling, our parenting, just the environment, everything. And they can be very abusive to us. And another one which is really, really abusive, I can see it so much, and it affects me. Like when I see it, it's very, very deep. And that's about beauty, on how, you know, the magazines present how we should look or how our bodies should be. And this is so damaging to us. It's so destructive. And it's horrible what I pick up, you know, when I'm working with people and I feel their pain, because they're looking at themselves in the mirror and they're looking at their breasts or their tummy or whatever part of their body, and you're sending this negative energy to yourself, to your cells, you know, and it's very, very destructive to you. So it's very important to love your body and love your cells and really love this temple that you're in, and learn to live in it and learn to use it and have fun in it and enjoy life.
Right. What's really interesting about that, which I'm sure that you notice, is I've explained to people over and over again, I know everybody's had this experience where they've met somebody just beautiful on the outside, like gorgeous, and they were such rude or unhappy people on the inside that it changed their look on the outside. You started looking at them differently. And then you have some people that people would think were average looking that turned out to be the most good looking people because of their personality and the energy that they project. So I think that people overlook the fact that a lot of your beauty, even in a physical manner, reflects by your energy that you project.
It's totally like that, The energy, like you'll find that people who you may not consider attractive, they suddenly, you know, they go out to a bar or to a club or something, and that girl or guy is attracting a lot of people to them, and yet there's somebody probably more attractive who isn't attracting so many people. So the person is opening up, their energy that they're giving off is like very confident, or they're sending these rich signals out, and the person's feeling it. If the person is connected through the heart, picking up the right frequencies, otherwise they could be up in the head, or just saying, okay, this is my. For example, I worked with a couple, and the couple came into me, and they were saying they were trying to have children, and they couldn't have children, and I just looked at them and I said, oh no, this, I know why you're not having children, because they were together because he was with her because she clicked all his boxes about the perfect woman, the perfect relationship.
Right.
She was intelligent, she was a businesswoman, she was good looking, so she was everything that all his boxes, they were ticked. And then she thought the same about him, but there was no heart connection. And I said to them, I said, listen, if I work with you, you may split up, and they were saying, what? And no, we're totally love and all the rest. So I said, listen, I'll leave it up to you to decide. Just really check inside how deep you want to go with this. So anyway, I worked with them, and sure enough, they did split up, because they realized, and even though she was beautiful, she was very cold features, very, very cold energy around her.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this coldness, rigidness inside her, and this, in him, there was a lot of anger.
Mm-hmm.
And when I worked with her, she became like a little child again, and she looked beautiful, and she's radiant. And he became very full of joy and laughter. And so it turned out that they didn't match each other anyway, so they both met different people and different partners, and they're in different relationships now. But what I'm saying is, you have to check really, really inside. It's not, okay, and I've done this before in my own relationship, it's not what society says is beautiful. Check inside. Are you really attracted to this person from your heart? What's the heart telling you? Not your head, not what your friends think you should be with, or your society tells you what type of woman or man you're meant to be with. What What does your heart tell you? What are you connecting with?
Right, and I find that interesting what you said there, because I do a lot of readings for people that are in relationships that are not working and they're trying to keep it together and they broke up like 4 times, and I'll be like, this person has not one quality that you would pick in a person ever. But they go for the outside exterior, and then they end up getting treated very badly, or they don't have anything in common. And I'm like wondering what these people are thinking, because I tell them they take more time ordering a Subway sandwich for dinner and what they want on it than they do deciding what they would like in a potential mate. They go for looks always. You know, you can have both. You can be attracted to them and have a heart connection, but they are under the impression they cannot. But we're getting towards the end of time. That went really fast, so I want to make sure that again that they know where to find you. Your website is it lightgrid.com?
It's light_grids, LIGHT _GRIDS.com.
Okay.
And also Sacred Gatherings.
And sacredgatherings.com. You will be in the States through
I'm in the States for the next over 2 weeks, so I'm starting tomorrow evening. So if you want to connect with me in any of the groups, you're welcome to connect and just give permission to whatever level you feel comfortable with, and I can work with you like that. And just take from there. If you want to come to any of the groups or workshop.
Yeah, if you're in.
Can I talk about the workshop just a little, just before we go? The workshop I'm doing is really, really deep cleansing. Now, this is going to change your life completely. I can guarantee you that. Every one of the groups I do, it changes people's lives completely. It brings you on your true path. It connects you to who you really, really are, the essence of who you really are. You can really live in the moment and live truly connected to your channels. You become a channel, and you can work with the technique. The technique I'm teaching, basically, what I can do, you can do as well. Anyone I've worked with, they can do it after I work with them. So it's basically, I teach you in clearing you and sending you downloads into the frequencies of your cells, and I'm sending these frequencies to you continuously, and then when I show you the technique, you may actually be surprised that you can actually do it, because I have to clear your belief systems that you cannot do this. And it's reawakening those connections which were always there, and then reconnect you with many more gifts and bring in all your gifts as well from your past lives and all the way through to the beginning of time. So the technique, the 4 day is going to be really huge shift. I could feel this a few months ago, and because of what happened 2 weeks ago, it's going to be much more. Each workshop is getting much more because of where we are connected with 2012, and it's really, really changing, so I can feel a huge shift. It's going to be an amazing workshop. I can really feel
it's a lot more probably intense. Through each workshop, it'll be more intense, yeah.
They're becoming more intense. It doesn't matter if you haven't done any type of work like this before. Ask inside your heart, does it feel right, not your head. Check inside and ask, does it feel right for you? You will be drawn. It will draw you if it's right for you. Any of the work I've done or workshops anywhere I do all over the world, people sort of get, connect with me through dreams, or they get something, a pull inside, yes, that feels right, and then they come. So anyone I've ever worked with, it's not because somebody told them to come or being pushed. It's always because the spirit inside them sort of wakens up and they feel, I don't know what he's talking about, I don't know what he's going on about, but it feels right. So if it feels right, just see how you feel, but it's going to be major, really, really major. It's really, really big shift that's going to happen in the 4 day, definitely, or any of the evenings that I'm doing as well.
Yeah. So that's coming up starting tomorrow. All the way through the 24th is when he starts his 4 day workshop, when you start your 4 day workshop in New York, which is going to be really intense. But you should definitely, if you're drawn to it, go to sacredgatherings.com, you can ask questions, you can call Sacred Gatherings, ask more questions about the event. There's information on the workshop there, and if you really want to get in touch with yourself and do some clearing, if you really want to learn more about bringing this knowledge up in yourself and have Damien help you with that.
Or if you want to work with groups as well, I teach how to work with groups. I'm really pushing people to work with groups at the moment. So anyone who wants to teach workshops or to work with group clearings, that's what I'm doing as well. So, or if you're in the business world, bring it into your business. I work a lot with very high level professionals, and they have big businesses, and what they do is they connect to their clients, they connect to their staff in a completely different way, and they become very fluid. There's no rigidness in their decisions anymore. It's very fluid, and they can move even though the economy is not good, they can actually move in a very fluid way. I work with stockbrokers, and they're actually making money at the moment because they're very fluid. Their fears are gone, and they can move with the shifts and the changes. So it works on many different levels.
Well, excellent. Well, and we're out of time here, Damien, and thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you. It was such a pleasure. Thank you, everyone. It was
wonderful. And you can go to my website if you want more information on Soul DNA. It's www.soul-dna.com. And please check out Damien at sacredgatherings.com. And you have a wonderful workshop.
Oh, great. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Oh, thank you. Take care.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.